Welcome to Career Shots from Beyond Your School. My name is Tarini Kapoor and I am your host for today. What after school is one of the most critical life decisions for every high schooler and their parents. Beyond Your School is a platform that brings different stakeholders together to help students and parents navigate this complex process successfully. Our guest for today is Mrs. Mousumi Ghosh. She is the founder of Career Alternatives Management Consultants, a training and career development startup. Welcome, ma'am.
Thanks, Tarini, for introducing me. I think it's a very good initiative that you have picked up. I think it will be very useful for students.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, ma'am, to start off, we just wanted to know which is better for undergraduate studies, India or abroad, and why?
See, there is no straightforward answer to it. Okay, but what I would say is. For undergraduate studies, if you are planning to go abroad, most of the students who go abroad, there's a lot of clarity on what exactly you want to do, because at that stage of your career, a lot of students, based on my experience, I've seen they are not very sure about what they want to pursue. So people who want to, so better way of explaining it is, if you are quite sure as to what are the subjects, what are the things that you would like to study, if you go right after 12 for your undergraduation, then I think going abroad is a very good option, because it gives you a very nice international exposure. You get to kind of interact with people from different kind of countries, so the global exposure is good. But at that stage, a lot of students do not have a clarity as to what they want to do. So if you have an option of getting into a good, reasonably good college in India, I would say that you can also look at universities in India which have a very good alumni, good courses, their placement, these things are good. You can look at that. So, and it's also a matter of if, because in undergraduate studies abroad, most of the universities do not have scholarship and a sponsorship. So you need to be very careful. Unless you're very good, your scores are very good, you get a scholarship. So based on that, you need to make a decision. But I would say that I generally advise, if you do not have clarity, get an undergraduate degree in India and then decide as to what you want to do. Because by second year, third year of your undergraduation, there is a lot of clarity as to what exactly you would like to pursue in terms of maybe a postgrad or any other thing that you want to do. That's my suggestion.
But, ma'am, some people say that it is better to go abroad as some colleges have the flexibility to change your majors or minors if
Yeah,
you're unsure of what you want to do. But we can't find that flexibility in India. What is your
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that is what it is. Now there are a lot of private universities in India, like I know of a few like Ashoka and all, which gives you a flavor of all three streams, right? At the first year, right? And the commerce, humanities, as well as science. So by the time you do your first year, there is a lot of clarity. And also people who go to maybe international curriculum schools at the plus two level, they get a flavor of all streams and the subjects which are related to those streams. So for them, I think they are very prepared as to what they want to pursue, and then they go and further. When you go for an undergraduate degree abroad, there is this flexibility of changing your stream and the subject options that you have. India is still not there. I think just maybe 0.1 or 0.2% of universities have that, so that becomes a real challenge. So I would say that people who are okay with it, they can think of going abroad. But I think still I would say at the undergraduate level, unless you're very sure, you should not kind of look at universities abroad.
and I'm sure that India will catch up to abroad university
Yes,
soon
yeah,
enough.
yes, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think so. And there are a lot of people who basically, uh, I can take an example of Delhi University. Delhi University has one of the best colleges in India, and the cutoff and all basically so high that even if a good student wants to study in any of the colleges there, they don't get an option. Okay, they don't get a chance to do that. And that then, what they think is it's better to go abroad for your undergraduate studies than being in a very average college where you might not kind of, because your undergraduate education is more than the subject, is more about personality development of a student, because you get exposure to a lot of things, a different kind of crowd coming from different kind of backgrounds, and that is where your learning is. Of course you learn a lot about the subject that you are enrolled in, but it's primarily about how you develop your personality at that level. So you have to be in a good college in India if you want to pursue it in India, where the faculty is good, the peer group that you interact with is good. There has to be a set of lot of people who have a vision and ambition for you to also develop that challenge in you, that you want to do something in your career. So those kind of, so a lot of people, despite having good marks, do not get a chance to be in a good university. And that's when I know a high percentage of people opt for undergraduate studies abroad. That is one of the also good reasons for people to look at universities abroad for undergraduation. So in such cases I think it's a good decision.
Yes.
So it's,
And
there's a
if I'm
no straightforward yes or no to the answer basically.
Yes. And if I'm not wrong, the cutoff for psychology this year in DU was
Yeah.
100, I think. So that's
Yeah, so
very high.
that's very impractical, and that's very surprising. I mean, I also know people in my family, they wanted to be in LSR and other good colleges in psychology. They didn't get through, although they had a very good percentage, so they decided to go abroad. So that's also one thing that compels people to look at universities abroad.
And what should one do if they're not sure about what they want to study? Are there some tests they can take? I'm
Yes,
not, if I'm
yeah.
not wrong, but if I think that you had some of those, so if you could tell us more about them.
Yeah, so actually, there are a lot of people who are not able to decide at the 10th grade level only as to which stream they would like to go for. So typically in India, based on my experience of the kind of people I counsel and make them go through career guidance, there's a lot of pressure still in India for the science stream. Okay, parents keep telling them that at least plus two, you do it science, after that you can decide. But whereas the children are very sure about what they want to do. So just to kind of have some kind of clarity, there are some assessments, there are some self assessments, there are some career interest tests that you can take to give you at least some a very broad picture of what are your interests and potential. Based on that you can decide on what stream. Like the small firm that we run, which is a lot of focus is on career guidance and counseling for high school students. We have this career interest test where there are a set of 45 questions which tests you on various things, and then it gives you a very broader picture of, there are 6 kind of careers that you can look at, and gives you the top 3 based on your score. That are you entitled, should you go for an enterprising career or an artistic career or a social career or an investigative career. So there's 6 categories to it, so it throws you the top 3 categories that you can look at, and then it gets easier, so it kind of narrows down your choice based on your interest
Yes.
and potential. So it gets slightly easier, although I would not say all these tests are 100% foolproof, but they are indicators as to where you stand. Right. So
Yes.
those are some things that you can look at. Then you can, kind of also talk to seniors, people in your family, to understand what actually comprises of, taking up this subject and a future for it. A little, kind of career graph as to what can you do if you take up this subject. But it's too early, Tarini. You are just 15 or so when you sit for your 10th grade exam. Based on scientific approach that we have, the brain is not fully developed at that age. So there are a lot
Yes.
of changes after that that happens, and based on that your interest and potential also keeps changing, also your exposure to different things. So It is, I would say that the assessments are good. Based on that, how have you been doing in the various subjects throughout your schools, at least from the sixth grade onwards? Have you been like, if I talk about somebody who wants to take up maybe English literature, you should see that, have you been maybe writing some articles for your school magazine? Have you been participating in debates? How good are you at? So those are small things. So for our career guidance complete sessions, we have a self assessment test, which is a written test that you need to write down. And there are things like your life experiences. In life experiences, we have categories like hobbies. So when we ask people to write about hobbies, we are not looking at somebody writing that I like playing football as a hobby. What we want them to write is, why do you like playing football and what do you learn from the game of football? Right. So when people write those things, because these days people don't have this, habit of writing down your experiences. So in that self-assessment, we give that exercise. And when they write those things, we can figure out what kind of interest and potential this person might have in future, and which they can develop with, education and other training and stuff like that.
Yes. And I completely agree. 15 is too young for a child to choose what they want to
Yes.
study.
Yeah. And internet is, Google internet is full of flooded with information. So children, parents, struggle to filter down the information they actually are looking for, because there's too much of information. So that is
Mm.
where, me and my team try to help students and parents to filter down information and give them, some guidelines as to how do you go about choosing a stream after 10th grade.
That's great. I think it's a very great initiative.
Yeah.
So, what are all the factors that we should think about before choosing our one college?
Uh, Factors, of course, the credibility of the college is very important in terms of their placement history, the faculty, what kind of heritage, all these are important. These days, what you should also look at is what kind of, technology they use. What is the, kind of experiential learning that they provide? It should not be only theoretical. That is very important. In your second year, third year, what kind of on job experience or some kind of internship exposure does the college encourage? Because you have to look for your own internship. I don't think that any college provides you with the internship. So what kind of initiatives like that the college kind of encourages? And another important thing these days is, people, I think, the you need to also look at the gender diversity of the college. Okay, what kind of combination of gender do you have in the college? That is very important. Environment is important. What kind of other co-curricular activities do they promote, and do they encourage students to kind of participate in? Those kind of things are very important, because what happens when you get into the world of work, more than your functional or your technical skills, your soft skills and your other non-technical things are also equally important for you to do well in your career. So that is why you have to be very, very particular about, if you have all the good marks and other things, you crack the entrance exam for the college and all, if you do that. So those kind of things are very important, because that is what I said in my earlier question, that we were discussing that colleges are undergraduate colleges are more about personality development, along with the subject that you study there.
Yes, I completely agree. It's an
Yeah.
overall experiences and all the factors should be
Yes.
considered.
Yeah, it's very important. It's very important. Yeah.
So, as you mentioned before, a lot of new private universities have come up in the recent past, like Ashoka
Mhm.
and Flames. What is your
Yes.
viewpoint on these in terms of quality of education?
I think they are good. The feedback we have, especially I can talk about Ashoka Flame. I'm not very sure, because I've got a mixed review from them, for them. Ashoka is good, but I think for Ashoka, they are very specific, or they are good in the liberal arts subjects. Okay. If you talk about the faculty and all is good, but I know a lot of people who have joined Ashoka from our known circle, as well as a lot of people that I interact with for career guidance. The faculty is good, but at times, they try to kind of have a lot of floating faculty of guest lecturers and all. Okay, so that is something you need to look into. But good thing about them is, they actually follow the international kind of, imparting education. There's a lot of practical stuff that is encouraged, and you are not just judged on your marks and all. So those kind of things are extremely good. Indian universities are also doing it, but I can still see people just, confining themselves to PowerPoint presentations and stuff like that. Those kind of things still, don't work actually. You have to send them to the field, to the workplace for them to actually have that kind of experience to learn the subject, as well as to know that how you can apply whatever you are doing in the real world. So those kind of universities, but Tarini, the percentage of those universities in India are very, very less. You just name two of them. I also know of just two of them. I think new universities, private universities are coming up, but percentage is very low. We need to kind of work on it and see if we can have more such universities in India. Yeah.
Yes, I completely agree. But can
Yeah.
you also
So,
share some of the challenges that one faces during the admission process in India?
uh, challenges in the sense, yes, challenges are is these days it's better, especially for the last 2 years because of COVID and this pandemic situation. Technology has been improved for a lot of good universities. So a lot of things were online and technology driven. But the challenges, as I told you, shortlisting the university, getting information as to which university, which college has good course. Okay, where do they stand? Because everybody kind of only refers to, most of them refer to Google for information when they give you this list of colleges, top colleges for suppose psychology or economics and all. But what you should try and do is, try and see if you can talk to somebody who's been studying, or who's maybe has passed out 2 3 years back from that college, or maybe somebody who's been studying there. If you can get some information about how it is, that's why the preparation for admission to colleges, you should start your research at least 7 to 8 months in advance, so that you have all these information. Because the struggle is shortlisting the colleges. A lot of colleges have, yeah, their different entrance exams, so there is a clash of days. So parents, people who stay in metros, for them it's not an issue. People who are non-metro students, for them it's a struggle. They come, suddenly they have to come, the different rates of entrance exam, because these days undergraduate, most of the good colleges have entrance exams. Okay. And followed by a GD and personal interview. So you have to be kind of prepared with it, and that's the struggle. And main struggle for them is they're flooded with information. They do not know how to kind of narrow down to maybe applying to 5 6 colleges. So I think the education ministry is talking about, now talks are going on about having a common exam even for undergraduate studies, where just like it's done for IIMs and all, they're going to be a ranking, and based on the college rank, you kind of can choose your college. So those common admission tests and all are something that is done. I think things will be better. So the struggle primarily, to answer it in a way, is flooded with information. People do not know, except for very, very regular popular streams like medicine, engineering, and the regular ones. Especially I see people struggle with humanities, because there's some very, very good colleges for humanities stream, but people are not aware. Because I know that there are a lot of commerce also, people are not aware of good colleges for commerce. Science still people know, but
Yeah, I
other
completely
streams,
agree.
yeah, and the new streams that are coming up, new streams like AI, artificial intelligence, and a lot of such
Yeah.
streams, people are, some children come to me and ask that which are the best colleges in India for aeronautical engineering. But what happens is there are just few colleges with that specialization, And the problem is their placements and all are not very good. So I advise them that don't do it at an undergraduate level, maybe do a mechanical or something, and then at post graduation you kind of think of doing aeronautical engineering from abroad or somewhere. So those are the struggle actually, in terms of application also. They are not sure about where to go, what to do, how many colleges to apply and stuff like that. And especially for outstation candidates, I think it's a struggle. Metro people don't suffer much, people from the metro.
And last but not least, does doing undergraduation in India limit our options for masters? Especially as undergrad in India is usually 3 years versus four
Yeah.
years in US or Canada.
Yeah. I think, that's a very good question because especially people who want to go for their MS and, Master of Science after graduation to countries like US and Canada, for them it becomes a constraint. Okay. But I think now a lot of universities, especially not Canada, Canada is still not very, they're still stringent about the 4-year degree. But US has, kind of, okay with, especially if you want to do anything related to management, then you can, a lot of good universities are okay with a 3-year degree, including Stanford and a lot of top Ivy League colleges. Okay, so for them it is different, but other than management courses, most of the courses actually ask for a 4-year degree. So a lot of people, what they do is, if they have done a 3-year degree, what they do is they enroll themselves into a post graduation in India, complete the first year of post graduation, and then start applying. So by the time they get into a MS degree there, they would have maybe almost completed the post graduation in India. Right. So those kind of things are there, but it is now, I think, in Bangalore, I know of a lot of good colleges like St. Joseph's, Mount Carmel. They have now kind of switched to a 4-year undergraduate degree. So India is going to be there in the next couple of, maybe another 5 years. All undergraduate courses are going to be a 4-year program.
Yes, I
So
heard DU is also converting to a 4-year course.
yeah. Yes, yeah, they are converting to a 4-year course. So I think that is required if you, especially if you want to kind of, study abroad. That
Yes.
becomes a challenge. Yeah.
So, do you have any learnings or tips or advice that you would like to share with all those students who are just starting to plan for the admission process?
I would say that, keep an eye on your interests, what do you like to do, just in a casual manner. Okay. Maybe start from 7th, 8th grade. Okay. As to what you love doing, who in the family do you kind of look up to based on the kind of work they do, if you know about it. Okay, maybe when you have nothing to do, so suppose you have a completely free day. Okay, and none of your parents or anybody is pestering you to just sit with your books. If you're in that kind of a situation, what do you love doing? What would you like to just pick up and start doing on an absolutely free day? Okay, those kind of things you should start experiencing for you to decide in the long run, around about 10th or 11th grade, as to where does your interest lie. Do summer jobs, do summer jobs to get some kind of an exposure. Then another thing that I tell people who struggle with communication skills, that also becomes a big hurdle when they kind of decide to take up a particular subject, is try to talk with all kinds of people. If you're traveling, especially maybe in an auto or something, start a conversation with the auto driver. When you go to a supermarket, try and talk to the people who are actually doing the billing. Those kind of things, that's how your confidence develops, and that's how you have a lot of clarity as to what you want to do.
Yes.
Okay, so those kind of things are very important, and that is why we do that self-assessment, test for people who come to us for career guidance, and it's very, very useful.
Yes, I'm sure this will be very helpful for all our viewers. And thank you everyone for watching this. For more such insights, please visit www.beyondyourschool.com. Thank you.